Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Aqueduct Racetrack here on Thursday. It's the 4th of July, 2024. Gonna look at all the races here on this Thursday program from Aqueduct, but before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also join me this Saturday for my Belmont Derby and Oaks preview here from Aqueduct, and also for the Eclipse from Sandown in the UK. Sunday you also have a good race in France, the Parisian Prat, so join me for that. It's a very good mile race, or 7 furlong. I can't remember what the distance is now off the top of my head, but some good racing this weekend, and of course next week we have Saratoga a week from today, so I can't wait for that. And you know, maybe full card selections from Saratoga again this year. I did it a little bit last year, didn't do every day, but I gave you selections every day, but just not full card selections. But maybe for the first week or so we'll do some full card selections from Saratoga, but it is a lot of work. But today, you know, we're off a nice long weekend. We're going to look at, you know, the Thursday card from Aqueduct. So let's get to it right now. 9 races, and I can't believe we're racing at Aqueduct on July 4th. They used to years ago, many years ago, and they run quite a few Suburbans here at Aqueduct on July 4th years ago. But it's going to be the first time in about 48 years that they're running here at in July. So let's look at the action here. The first race, very good 2-year-old race. It's a main special weight. Purse $90,000. Race remains fillies 2-year-olds here. We have a field of 7 horses entered to go 1,100 meters or 5.5 furlongs on the Aqueduct main track. Going to take a shot with the 6-horse Yellow. 6-3-5-1 in the superfecta. 6-3-5-1 super. Top selection 6-horse Yellow. This 2-year-old Philip Bernardini here. Top pledger trains. Iritis Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent appearance came, first time starter, most recent workout came the 26th of June at Saratoga on the Oklahoma. 4 furlongs and 49 from the gate. 6th best workout, 14. It's going to like with this horse. You know, this horse has had quite a few gate workouts going into this race. Also, the workout patterns have been very nicely done. 49 flat from the gate last time out. 2 weeks ago, 4 furlongs and a half on the Oklahoma, and 48-3 from the gate. Third best workout out of 50, and a 4-furlong workout in 15-3. You know, first time starters for Tom Pletcher are striking at 19%. 2-year-olds so far, this 20%. Coming here, drawing well. Looks like this horse has a good pedigree with Bernardini and the Indian Charlie on the dam side. I think this horse can run a lot. Watch out for this one here today. I also think the 3-horse here got at Brazil for Brittany Russell and Dylan Davis. Don't sleep on this one. You know, this Into the Mischief 2-year-old filly here. Brittany Russell, first-time starters, 22%, with her 2-year-olds, 22% also, with a decent ROI. This horse is trained quite nicely down in the Mid-Atlantic at Laurel. Half-mile drill and 50 flat from the gate. The 26th best workout, 63, and a half-mile from the gate at Fair Hills and 48 flat from the gate. Third best workout, 9. I think this horse is ready to go. I think she has some speed also. Watch out for this horse coming up north to make the debut. Even the 5-horse, Italian Soiree for Flavian Pratt and John Terranova. John Terranova, not the best of starts with first-time stars, actually has no victors, and also with 2-year-olds doesn't have great numbers either. This horse's workout patterns at the Belmont train track haven't been half bad. This horse, 3 back at the workout pattern, 47 from the gate for a half mile. The 4th best at 71. I think this horse is rearing to go. Another horse, watch out for this horse. They paid a pretty penny for him, $600,000. So let's use this horse in the pick 5 to begin it off. Very exciting 2-year-old race. But to recap my selection for the first from Belmont, the Big A, going to take the 6-horse Yellow. Give kudos to the 3-horse Gata Brazil and the 5-horse Italian Soiree. 6-3-5-1 super, 6-3-5 in the multi-race. The second race from Aqueduct, it's an allowance optional claimer purse, $100,000 race for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, no won $18,000. The main claim starter, staple allowance racer, it's never won, blah, 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 blah. 2 races, optional claim price, $50,000 here. We have a field of 6 horses taking a stroll around the main track, which is 1,800 meters in circumference, or a mile and 1/8 on the Aqueduct main track. Going to take the 6-horse Sedona as a top selection. 6-3-2-1 in the superfecta for me. 6-3-2-1 super. Top selection 6-horse Sedona. 3-0 Philip Curlin here. Shug McGahee trains. Iritis Jr. gets the mount. The horse's most recent appearance came the Derby week at Church on the Slab. Mile 16, 3rd of May, an optional 100 claimer. First time winners. This horse had a horrible poster, but I thought she got around the race course well. She finished second by 2 3/4 lengths. She was stupidly wide throughout, but she gained a lot of ground that day behind Zamara, who was a decent horse that day in Victor. But this horse, first time around 2 turns, not a bad race with 78 buyer. Coming back here to a more leveler playing field. Mile Nathan's horse is bred for through and through. I think she's sitting on a very good race here today. They did buy her. They bought her for $2 million at the basic tip them Saratoga sale of 2022. Watch out. She's a little bit expensive, this one. On debut, she ran at Gulfstream 3rd of March, 7 furlongs in main special weight. She won by half a length that day, and again, sat back early, not low for early pace, but she slowly moved her way into the race, and she got the job done. A very good performance. She's trading quite nicely down at Far Hills. Training, giving her a shot here at even money. I know it's not the best price, but she could win. I think 3 horse mid-cents for Tom Pletcher and Jose Gomez could win also. The race 2 back in the Spinway where they lost Manny Franco at the beginning. What can you do? This horse just couldn't keep Manny up. Came back to run Saratoga earlier in the month over the Wilson Mile in the Lounge Race for under 10,000, where she finished 3rd by 14 3/4 lengths. It didn't break so well, which probably cost her. She got down the race course well behind Ways and Means, but Ways and Means was freaking that day. And on debut over the Wilson Mile off the turf at Saratoga last July, she won by 4 1/4 lengths, going away with it. A lot of horses were weakening out of it, but she stayed the trip well first time outing. Coming here around 2 turns, she's bred for. Last time out, she lost to an incredible horse. She's not facing so much talent here today, not to knock them, but I think she could find a trip to win. I'll use her in the pick 4. But to recount my selection for the second from Aqueduct, gonna take the 6 horse here, Sedona. Give kudos to the 3 horse mid-cents. 6-3, 2-1 super, 6-3 in the multi-race to the third from Aqueduct. It is the Perfect Sting Stakes. It's going for a purse of $150,000. Race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses entered. 6, 7, and 8 are MTOs, so 5 will head to the inner turf course. 1,600 meters a journey or a mile on the inner turf course. Rails are up, I believe, at 18 feet, if I'm not mistaken. My top selection here, I'm going to go to the rail to the 1 horse Moofy. I'm going to go 1-5-4-2 in the superfecta. 1-5-4-2 super. Top selection 1 horse Moofy. This 5-year-old mare by Uncle Mo. Jonathan Thomas trains along. Franco Dettori comes into New York City to ride this horse. The horse's most recent outing came the Grade 3 Modesty at Churchill, mile and 8th on Oaks Day, yielding round 3rd of May. And the horse finished 8th by 8 3/4 lengths that day. And she was just wide, and she just wasn't excelling that day. She saw too long of a trip, I thought, off the bench, where she just never had the turn of foot. She's probably, hopefully the rain stays away, she's probably going to see a very lightning fast turf course where she'll be a little bit more forwardly paced. I think she could find a trip to win, also getting some serious class relief from that last race. I thought she ran decently in the Buena Vista at Santa Anita, a mile on the 3rd of March, where she finished 2nd by 3/4 length. She had a stupidly wide trip, but she closed up well late. She just missed on the wire, but she ran her hard out behind Ruby Nell that day. And then a month prior, on the 3rd of February at Santa Anita, a mile on the Grade 3 megahertz, she finished 2nd by a length that day. And again, she had a bit of a bumpy trip that day, but she was again gaining ground that day. Not a bad race first start in Southern California. Prior to that, she ran in the Midwest at Turfway, a mile and a 16th on Topeka, and then My Charmer, where she finished 2nd by 2 3/4 lengths. Again, a bit of a wide trip, but she was, gaining that day. Her most recent victory actually came at Ellis last summer in the Ellis Park Turf Handicap, where she won by a length, going away with it, closing up well. Not a bad race. She's running bang-up buyers that could definitely win here. I'll give her a shot here, training well at Keeneland. I think the 5 horse here, Midnight Mile for Irad and Chad Brown, second start stateside, could find a trip to win also. The race in the Plenty of Grace here at Aqueduct going the mile on the 21st of April. She finished 2nd by 5 lengths. Spirit and Glory really took off clear, but this horse, she kind of stalked that day. The winner had the jump on her, but this horse got around the race course well. It's an improvement off the previous races in Europe, which were just not up to par. She ran the Atlantia Stakes at Sandown over the mile on soft ground on the 2nd of September, where she finished 10th by 13 lengths that day, and she just had a wide trip, and she just couldn't quicken up. She weakened out of it drastically. Something must have went amiss. It just wasn't her day to win. And the Rosa Lancaster at Haydock over the mile and a quarter. She finished 3rd by 3/4 length that day. She was with him early on, but then she just kind of yielded that day. She won over the mile and a quarter at York quite nicely before that on 20th of July in the Lyric Stakes, a listed race, winning by 2 1/4 lengths, closing up from mid-pack. I thought it was a very, very good effort. Coming back to a mile trip on this turf course, fast turf course actually, which I think she'll absolutely adore. She could find that trip to win. Let's use her in the pick 4. But to recount my selection for the co-feature 3rd race, it is the Perfect Sting. Going to take the 1 horse Moofy. Give kudos to the 5 horse Midnight Mile. 1-5-4-2 super. 1-5 in the multi-race. The 4th race now from Aqueduct. It's main special weight purse $90,000. Race for mains, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upwards. 7 horses are going 1,600 meters of the 1-turn mile. Going to take the 7 horse True Potty as a top selection. 7-6-4-5 in the superfecta for me. 7-6-4-5 super. Top selection 7 horse True Potty. This 3-year-old filly by Matoli here. Jonathan Thomas trains. Irad Hughes Jr. gets to mount. The horse's most recent outing came 14th of June at Delaware. 6 furlongs in the main special weight, 40,000, and she finished third by 3 lengths that day. And she just sat back early. She moved a little bit late. She neither weakened out of it, but neither quickened up either. She just kind of plodded along. I do think she might need the race there. I think getting blinkers on, getting the extra 2 furlongs off the last run, which she's been crying out for, I think she could find a trip to win. 2 back in her sophomore effort at main special weight at Delaware, 5.5 on the mud, 15th of May. She finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day, and she sat back early. Again, a little bit of turn of foot. The winner had the jump on her, but she showed potential that day. And then on debut, Keeneland going 6 in the main special weight in April, finished third by 13 lengths that day. She wanted to move. Jose had a bit of a strong hold on this horse, which probably cost her. But like I said, just looking the way she runs, she wants a mile. She's going to get it today. She's running some want decent buyers that could definitely win here. I'll give her a shot on the ticket. Don't sleep on the first-time starters, 6-horse headline numbers for Klarovich, Brown, and Flavian here. This horse, is trending quite nicely. This 3-year-old colt by 3-year-old filly by Gunrunner, half-mile drill last week at Saratoga and 48-2, the second-best workout 20, and a 4-furlong workout 48-1, the fourth-best workout 22. A couple weeks ago, front of the gate 50-1 on the half on the Oklahoma for that half-mile, 24th best workout 54. Chad, decent numbers with first-time starters, but incredibly. With first-time starters at a mile, has even better numbers, 22%. Watch out for this horse here today. I think she could, she could find the trip to win. Even the 4-horse Silvology for Joelle. The race at Saratoga in June wasn't bad at all, where she gained some ground behind Audacious that day, who had a very good freaky debut victor. But this horse, she didn't break so well, but again, she found the momentum late. Second time out, I'll give this horse a shot on the ticket at 8-5, but it's a very good fourth race here, so I think this is one of the race you're going to make money with. But to recap my selection for the fourth from Aqueduct, it is a main special weight. You're going to take the 7-horse Tripati, give kudos to 6-horse headline numbers and the 4-horse Silvology, 7-6-4-5 Super, 7-6-4 in the multi-race pick 4. The go-out leg, the 5th race of the early pick 4, it is on the starter optional claimer for $65,000. Race fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, and start for a claim price of $50,000 or less, so whichever one. A race in the main claiming starter of $35,000. Blah 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 blah. We have a field here of, field of 8 horses going 1,600 meters, or again, the mile trip. Gonna take the 7-horse Graceful Rose, 7-3-4-1 for me in the superfecta, 7-3-4-1 super. Top selection, 7-horse Graceful Rose, 4-year-old filly by Bali here. Michael Gorman trains. Irad Ortiz Jr. gets some mounts. The horse's most recent outing came the 9th of May at Saratoga, at Aqueduct, mile 16th, an option 50 claimer, and the horse finished 9th by 9.5 lengths that day. This horse was just wide that day and just was not excelling. If you look at the turf numbers for this horse, they've been very subpar. He likes running on the dirt. Back to dirt today, where he's run competitive numbers that could win against these horses. He's in a realistic spot to win. He ran 11th of April here at Aqueduct, mile and allowance, starter allowance race 50,000, where he finished second by 2 lengths that day. Again, he was a little bit wide, low lackadaisical early on, but he closed up into some soft fractions early on. Not a bad race there with that 76 buyer. And then prior to that, in the starter allowance race, 1 mile, 14th of March, he finished second by 4 3/4 lengths, sitting a little bit closer that day. He was a little bit wide. I thought he won something more, but again, not a bad race there. His most recent victory came in claiming 40 at Laurel, quite nice over the 1-turn mile, winning by a half length from a tracking trip. He really, really took off clear. Back up here in New York, back to a 1-turn mile, back to dirt most especially. He could win. I think the 3-horse here, Egmatic for Linda Rice and Jose Ortiz, second back from his race last week. I think his horse could really run a good race. Ran a maiden 75,000 the 27th of June, off the turf over the mile, winning by 9 3/4 lengths. This horse kept going. That was a very good, easy victory. Coming with a quick turnaround here today, second time in the barn. I think this horse could find the winner's circle again. Went at Oakland prior to that, a mile 16th in a claiming 50,000, main 50,000, where he finished 4th by 2 3/4 lengths and just kind of yielded around the second turn. Maybe this horse doesn't want to go around 2 turns. Maybe the 1-turn mile is what this horse wants to do. Before that, again, a mile 16th and a main special way, he just kind of, hit the wall around the second turn, and then he was drawn in the parking lot New Year's Eve at Oakland, where he just was never comfortable. I think back to 1-turn mile. is what this horse could do. A quick turnaround. Linda Rice, these numbers with the quick turnarounds, 19%. I'll give this horse a shot on the ticket at 2-1. The 4-horse covered the spread for Manny Franco. Wouldn't surprise me if this horse gets a trip to win. Just wasn't going 2 turns last time out at Pimlico, and then the race before in his allowance race at Laurel off the bench. He needed the race, completely hit the wall that day under the drive. But if you look at some of the races last season or last winter, they weren't bad at all. They could definitely win here. I would use this horse to end off the pick 4 here. But to recount my selection for the 5th from Aqueduct now, going to take the 7-horse Graceful Rose, give kudos to the 3-horse Enigmatic, and the 4-horse cover the spread, 7-3-4-1 Super, 7-3-4 in the multi-race. The beginning of the pick 4, late pick 4, race number 6, up next. The 6th race from Aqueduct, it's an allowance optional claimer, purse $105,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. Number 1, $18,000 3 times of the main claim starter, staple allowance race, which number 1 4 races. Optional claim price $80,000 here. We have a field of, let's see, 11, 12, 13 horses here, including part of an entries. The 9-horse, the 2B is also eligible. The 9 and 10 are both excuse me, 2B is an AE, 9 and 10 are NTOs. So I have a field of, let's see, 10 horses, I guess, going to the outer turf course, the 1,200 meter journey, or 6 furlongs on the outer turf course. Rails are quite far out today. Can't speak. Pardon me. It's been a very long day. We're in a very long week, and it's only Tuesday. I know, as I'm filming, but it's just I can't speak. But field of 10 horses going 1,200 meters or 6 furlongs. Rails are out 36 feet, which is quite far out, so the speed's really going to hold up here. But with that being said, I think this race could be a stakes race. That's how good the quality I think in this race is. Probably one of the best allowance races we've had here at Aqueduct on the turf in general, turf or dirt, that we've had this year so far. So it's exciting to look at. Quite a few great winners here. But I'm going to take the 4-horse Outlaw Kid as a top selection. We'll go 4-3-1-X2 in the superfecta. 4-3-1-X2 Super. Top selection 4-horse Outlaw Kid. This 5-year-old gelding by Violence here. George Weaver trains. Flavian Pratt gets the mount. Horse's most recent outing came last week, 28th of June at Laurel. 5.5 on the turf course, an option 55 claimer. First off the bench, he finished second by 2 3/4 lengths that day, and he just kind of stalked all the way around the race course. The winner had the jump on him, but he got around the race course well. Coming off a quick turnaround, hopefully, training well. I think this horse can get the job done. If you look at Weaver's number, he doesn't have a lot of runners on the quick turnaround, but I think this horse, second off, can find the trip to win. We're in the King Leatherberry at Laurel prior to that, 5.5 on the 20th of April, where he finished second by a neck behind Woody that day, where again he sat back early, a little bit wide late, but he was gaining that day. Not a bad race in defeat. And then the visual at Woodbine, 6 furlongs to Peta, 16th of September. He finished 8th by 5 3/4 lengths that day, and he just wasn't showing up that day. He just got beat by better horses. And the Vice Regent at Woodbine, 5 furlongs on the inner turf course, he won quite nicely by a neck closing it from nowhere. His races here in New York haven't been half bad. He actually ran the race of his life nearly a year ago at Belmont, just over a year ago now. 6 furlongs inner turf course, an option 6-2 claimer, won by 3 1/4 lengths from a stupidly wide poster. He stalked a very lightning fast pace. He quickened up and he went away with it. 100 buyer, 3 3/4 like Victor. Not a bad race, especially off the bench. He won on this turf course back in the fall of 2022, quite nice and very lightning ground. Came back to on a very good place on this turf course. I'm going to give him a shot back here today off the quick turnaround of 5-1. He could definitely win. I think the 3-horse Son of a Birch for Tom Morley and Javier Castellano could find a trip to win also. One going on Monmouth in late May, 5.5 an optional 30 claimer, winning by a nose that day. He stalked, he got the lead. He nearly kind of got overtaken late, but he just held on to it. It looks like he's the kind of horse when he gets to the front, he wants to stop. And all his victors have been by nose, head, and neck. So, if he wins today, hopefully it could be more than like a nose. But, he got the job done, but he's the kind of horse I think you just have to keep working him to the wire. Prior to that, he ran the 24th of March at Fairgrounds, 5.5 in allowance race, 58,000, winning by a head that day. Again, he sat back early, stupidly wide. He had the lead. It looks like he's pulling himself up, but Jamie Torres, just had to use him to the wire. Very good race in that day. And then prior to that, at Fairgrounds, 5.5 in a lounge race, 53,000, finished second by a neck. Again, gained a lot of ground that day, but he just missed. He ran his heart out. Making his Aqueduct debut, he's training quite nicely at Belmont, getting Javier up on this horse. I'm going to give him a shot, but like I said, I think he's the kind of horse you just want to keep going to the wire. I think the 1X horse here, Big Invasion, could also get the trip to win for Christoph and Irad. An old-fashioned 1X here. We need a 2B and a 3C later in the card. I love seeing these I hate part of an entries, but there's a part of me that likes seeing it also. But, you know, a big invasion. He's making his first start down in class in quite a few years. You know, if you look at the horse he's been facing, it's the best of the division. He ran a month ago in the Jaipur Belmont at Saratoga going 5.5, where he finished 10th. Never really getting into it that day. Again, in the turf sprint at Churchill Derby weekend, he just wasn't showing up there. And then he had a decent fourth in the Silks run. I think stepping down in class, getting a confidence builder on this turf course should be the key for this horse. You know, he won the New Arctic on yielding ground at Woodbine last year quite nicely and nearly beat Thin White Duke, who I'm a big fan of, in the Harvey Pack last summer at Saratoga, where Thin White Duke just caught this horse late. But this horse, he ran his heart out that day. He has serious ability, down in class, training well since the last run. I'll give him a shot here at 2-1. Also, it's kind of cool if we could see a 1x win. It's been a while, probably. There has to be a database where you can actually look that up when a 1x horse won most recently. If there is, just comment below. But to recap my selection for the 6 from Aqueduct, I'm going to take the 4 horse Outlaw Kid. Give kudos to the 3 horse Son of a Birch in the 1x Big Invasion. 4-3 1x2. 4-3 1x in the multi race. Let's get to the 7th race. 7th race from Aqueduct. It's an allowance race, purse $100,000. Race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Number 1, $18,000. Other than the main claiming starter, stay by allowance race, which number 1, 2 races here. We have a field of 9 horses, including a part of an entry entered. 8 and 1A are both MTOs, so 7 will head to the inner turf course of the 2,200 meter journey, or mile 3/8 on the inner turf course. Rails are up at 18 feet. I'm going to take a shot with a 5 horse here. Hold the Salsa. 5-7-6-1 in the superfecta. 5-7-6-1 super. Top selection 5 horse. Hold the Salsa. I like salsa, but I don't like cilantro, so if it has cilantro in it, you lose me right there. It tastes like soap. I know I'm weird like that, but a lot of people do agree with me, but then there are a lot of people like, oh no, you like cilantro. I'm like, no, then you like eating soap. But back to the horse. A 6-year-old gun by Hold Me Back. Luis Ludwig trains this one. Luis Rivera Jr. gets the mount. Horse's most recent outing came a month ago on the 27th of May here at Aqueduct on Memorial Day, if I'm not mistaken. A mile 3/8 and allowance race 100,000, where he finished second by 6 lengths. Truly quality really took off clear. This horse just kind of stalked that day. He was a little ranked, but he was really gaining that day. He's been a little bit close, but no cigar in these kind of races, and he's running decent numbers that could definitely win here. I'm going to give him a back here to this race. I don't think it's the world's toughest quality mile 3/8 race we've had. I think he could find a trip to win. You know, on debut, first off the bench on the 26th of April at Aqueduct, mile 16th inner allowance race 182,000. He finished second by 1/4 lengths behind So High. It's a decent horse that day. This horse, he stalked all the way around the race course. He closed up well late. He outran his 58-1 odds that day. Not a bad race that day. You can throw out his 2 previous races, though. He's not a dirt horse. A mile 8th in late December at Aqueduct in the allowance race 90,000, where he finished 5th by 9/4 lengths that day, where he just kind of stalked that day and just kind of, he completely hit the wall that day. Just wasn't getting the trip. And then over the 1-turn mile locally on the dirt in the allowance race, finished 4th by 10/4 lengths. Again, just never showing up that day. You know, he saw some very tough, turf races in the fall here, which probably cost him. Then allowance race on the 18th of November, he was facing tough horses. Got a decent 5th over the mile 3/8 in early September locally, and then his races at Belmont last year over this course weren't bad at all at significant odds. He's training out well at Fairhill since the last race. I'm going to give him a shot. He's, like I said, buyer numbers, he could win here if you go by them. I think the 7 horse here, Breeze for Jose Lascano and Shug McGay, he can win also. His win 2 back over the mile 3/16 in the main special and the Tapete at Gulfstream wasn't bad at all. Winning by a neck, closing up from mid-pack. I thought it was a very good race, even though the horse didn't keep a straight course. First time winners at Keeneland, though, over the 1.5 miles. He was just a little bit tiring that day. He finished 9th by 10/4 lengths that day, and he just never was really into it. You know, he should have done a little bit better. Hopefully they give this horse a little bit more forwardly pace. I think from a wide post that'll be the key for him. He showed forwardly pace on the 4th of January at Gulfstream going mile 3/16, where he just kind of hit the wall late, but he got around the race course well that day. Back here, I'll give him a shot here at 12-1. And I also think the 6 horse here, Catch a Wave for Chad Brown and Flavian. The victor on debut at Tampa in March wasn't bad at all. Came back to run a decent 3rd over extended trip at Keeneland, and then ran here over the mile 3/16 or mile 3/8 in May, where he just, he just had a bit of trouble trip that day, but he was gaining that day. Blinkers off today. I'll give him a shot on the ticket. 2-1. This is, again, for the late pick, one of those good races. But to recount my selection now for the 7 from Aqueduct, going to take the 5 horse, Hold the Salsa, give kudos to the 7 horse Breeze and the 6 horse Catch a Wave, 5-7-6-1 super, 5-7-6 in the multi race. The 8th event now from Aqueduct's feature on the program. It is the Victory Ride Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a $175,000 purse race for 3-year-old fillies. Field of 5 horses going 1,300 meters or 6.5 in the Victory Ride. Going to take the 3-horse Emery as a top selection. 3-4-1-5 in the superfecta. 3-4-1-5 super. Top selection 3-horse Emery. This 3-year-old filly might be more than ready here. Brad Cox trains. Tyler Gaffleone gets them out. The horse's most recent outing came 9th of June at Churchill. 7 furlongs and Leslie's Lady, where the horse won by 3 3/4 lengths, 89 cents to the dollar favorite. This horse back early after not the best beginnings, but basically won in cruise control that day. She quickened up nicely and won under the drive. A very good race. Coming here to New York, a little not the world's toughest horses. I think at a half furlong less, might not be the best trip. I think she might be better with 7, but I think she could, find the trip to win. She ran off the bench at Keeneland going 6 nuptial 100 on the 19th of April, where she won by 5 1/4 lengths, and again from a tracking trip. She was a little bit wide late, but she got the job done. A very good race with an 82 buyer. And then as a 2-year-old, her final race came here at Aqueduct in the mile for Zed. On the slop, she finished 4th by 5 1/4 lengths that day. She was wide, and she just wasn't excelling that day. She weakened out of it. She just, as a favorite, she just ran horribly. Got beat by the eventual division champion, so what can you do? But on debut at Saratoga in late August last year on the mud going 6, she won by 5 3/4 lengths that day, and she really took off clear. Training well Churchill from the last race. Coming here, she could win. I think the 4-horse Helena's Forte for Philip Bauer and Jose Ortiz could win also. Was a victor at Churchill in late May over the 6 quite nicely by 2 lengths on the front end. And then the race before then, the 8 bells, I thought she just saw some tougher horses that day. But if you coming here, she won the Ruthless on this track. I'll give her a shot here on the ticket. She's proven she gets shipped to New York. Give her a shot. Like I said, she's run the race strong enough to win here. But to recount my section for the 8th from Aqueduct now, it's the grade 3 Victory Ride. Going to take the 3-horse Emery. Give kudos to the 4-horse Helena's Forte. 3-4-1-5 Super. 3-4 in the multi-race. Let's get to the nightcap now. The 9th race from the bait. The nightcap from Aqueduct on this 4th of July program. It is a maiden claiming event going for a $45,000 purse race for maidens, fillies, mares, 3-year-olds and upwards, state breds going for a $40,000 claiming price. Field of 15 horses entered. 11 through 13 are AEs, 14, 15 are MTOs. 10 will head to the outer turf course, 1,700 meters a journey, or a mile 16th on the outer turf course. Again, rails are out at 36 feet. Going to take the 5-horse Tongue Twister as a top selection. 5-8-1-3 for me in the superfecta. 5-8-1-3 super. Top selection of 5-horse Tongue Twister. This 3-year-old filly by Gets Stormy here. Right handle trains. Dylan Davis gets the mounts, who's having a very good under the radar meeting, I think. Very good under the radar year in general also. But this horse's most recent outing came 25th of April here at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs on the outer turf course in main special weight for $70,000, where he finished 7 by 5 1/4 lengths. Off the bench, he probably needed the race. He was with him early on, but then just kind of hit the wall. I think with a very good post draw, has some forwardly kick, I think, from this post draw. I think he could, find a trip to win. I think he's been crying out for a route race. On debut, he ran the 29th of October here at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs on a good turf course in the state bred main special weight, where he finished 2nd by 2 3/4 lengths by Dusk, who really freaked that day. But this horse, he sat back early, a little bit wide, but he showed potential that day. Since the last race, he's training quite nicely. I think he's, he's sitting on that very good race. Sprint to route for Ray Handel, 27%, with a good offering here, with a good offering of runners. I think this horse could find the trip to win at 9-2. I'm going to use him. I think the 8-horse here, Devil's Arrow for Manny Franco and Jonathan Thomas, can win also. First time blinkers. On debut, ran here on the mud going a mile on the main special weight in May, where he finished 5th by 5 1/4 lengths that day. He was just wide, and he just was flat that day. I think first time turf is what this horse wants to do. 21% for Jonathan Thomas, first time turf, and also from main special weight to main claiming, 22%. They do get overbet, but another horse you want to watch out for on the ticket. And even the rail horse Bossy Jeans off the bench ran here in the fall, where he had a decent 3rd place finish from a bit of a bumpy trip that day. And then prior to that first turf here at Aqueduct over the mile 16th of September, he finished 5th by 5 1/4 lengths, where he had the lead, and then he just kind of yielded late. Maybe just asking a little bit too much too soon. Might need the race off the bench, but at 5-2, I would give him a shot on the ticket. But to recap my selection for the nightcap here on this July 4th program from Aqueduct, going to take the 5-horse Tongue Twister, which is my definition today. Gonna give kudos to the 8-horse Devil's Arrow and the 1-horse Bossy Jeans. 5-8-1-3 super, 5-8-1 in the multi-race. With that being said, good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. Good luck, everyone.